So, I will be covering the company's power grid in this. I will be covering the Indian Energy Exchange, power sector in general. I will be talking a bit about the transportation and auto space, specifically with regard to the launches of electric vehicles and the way we see the market panning out and the impact on the existing portfolio companies of Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto via the holdings, and in terms of the impact on Maruti or Suzuki. I'll point to some resources where people can watch those videos or read those books for people who are really interested in doing a deep dive on this subject. So we've been fans of Tony Seba and his talks, so people can watch those on YouTube, and probably we'll post some links to that in the comment section down the road on the AGM video. Also, there is a very interesting book on the way the electricity grid works. This was in fact recommended by Bill Gates way back in 2016. So, the title of the book is The Grid, as simple as that, and you could look up that piece as well. I'll just summarize some of the points relating to this, the points that Tony Seba make, and a lot of other people have also made those points with regard to electricity and energy and transportation, and way these things are shaping up and how do we see that in the future. So clearly the share of renewables in the overall energy space is increasing, and it is expected to increase at an even faster pace in the coming years. Initially, activists and climate change advocates and governments thought that a lot of effort will need to be made to nudge people to switch away from fossil fuels towards renewables, but increasingly this switch is happening on account of pure economics rather than the Paris Accords or the pushed by politicians and climate change advocates. Over the years, what has happened is the cost of renewable electricity, especially solar energy, has been falling, and now it has fallen below the cost of thermal power in a lot of places, and in many other places it's either at par or only slightly more expensive than the thermal power generated by coal plants. What this does is, interestingly, is that solar power is a bit different from thermal power. Thermal power, there is a lot of predictability because the coal is mined, and barring the current coal shortage kind of scenario, typically the plants can decide when they want to burn the coal and when they want to run the plants, and electricity is generated in a more or less predictable manner. And because of this predictable nature, typically there are long-term power purchase agreements between generators and transmission companies and distributors. When electricity moves towards renewables, things like solar, things like wind, things like hydel, there is some bit of unpredictability thrown into the mix. Solar does not generate electricity at night. Solar will not generate electricity if there is cloud cover or too much rain. Wind electricity depends on strong winds flowing, so sometimes they may generate a lot of electricity, sometimes it may not be generated to the extent expected. Hydel power depends on rains and things like that, so in a drought kind of scenario there is a shortfall from hydel capacity. So because of all these factors, the energy mix becomes somewhat unpredictable, and a lot of spot trading is required. So increasingly there is this shift away from the long-term power purchase agreements towards this spot buying and selling of electricity, or the short-term electricity market. and this is where companies like IEX come in, and where we see the business potential for them. So while the overall electricity market may grow at a certain level, the quantum of energy traded on the exchange will grow at a faster rate than the overall electricity generation. So that's the roadmap, and again, like other network effect businesses, typically there is a very strong first mover advantage. We will see how that pans out. There have been a lot of questions around regulation and how that will affect IEX and things like that. So regulations affect most businesses and especially nascent businesses. So one will have to keep watching how the regulatory space evolves. We don't have all the answers today for how the regulations will evolve and what will be the impact on the companies. But I am sure the companies will try and adapt to whatever new regulation comes in, and we have seen this in various other fields. For example, even the gas distribution companies had this regulatory overhang, companies like Indraprastha Gas or Gujarat Gas or Mahanagar Gas, and over a period of time these things evolve, and companies are able to operate under the changed environment. I think something similar will happen over here, and even pricing may come down by a bit as volumes grow at a very high rate, but I think that is to be expected and not something to be unduly worried about. This is in the context of the Indian Energy Exchange. There have been questions on valuations of the company. So clearly from around 200 levels where we were buying the company to a price level of 800 to 1000 rupees in a very short span of time, the run up has been very sharp and strong, and we are not fans of this daily up and down that is happening in the market, and speculators stampeding in and out of the stock. But we are not buying at the current levels. We have not bought the stock in a while. So as I mentioned, our buying was more around the 200 kind of price level, and at the current levels we have not been buyers. By not buying, automatically the additional inflows that we are getting are going to other stocks, and we are watching the space. We don't want to be in a hurry to sell as well, because it's a unique one of a kind company and where the growth prospects are extremely strong. But if such a situation arises where we can no longer justify even holding the stock, we will sell it if such a situation were to come. Coming to the other recent addition where there have been a lot of questions, that has been on Power Grid. I already mentioned the book, which will give some idea of how the grid operates and things like that, especially in the US markets. I'll draw an analogy here. Think of your OTT subscription plan, whether it's for Netflix or for ZEE5 or Sony Live or something like that. You pay a fixed rate per month, and whether you watch just one movie or you watch 5 seasons of a particular serial, the monthly charge to you is the same. The grid works on a similar fashion. So the grid operator has a responsibility of keeping the grid up and maintaining the grid, but they are compensated on the capacity rather than how much of the grid is actually used or how much electricity actually is transmitted over the grid lines. So that is the business model. I already mentioned that with the increasing share of renewables, especially solar and wind, the electricity generation becomes erratic, and you never know which region will be surplus and which region will be deficit. And because of that, the requirement for grid capacity increases with the addition of the renewables in the overall energy mix. And a company like Power Grid has an opportunity to incur that capital expenditure and generate return on that additional capital expenditure for its shareholders. So people have been asking that the debt on balance sheet of a company like Power Grid looks high, and that is true. Neil in his presentation mentioned that typically our preference is for low debt companies. Now that is true for general businesses, but financial companies, companies like banks and NBFCs at one end, and companies in the utility space, so companies in the power sector or in the road sector, etc. These companies, the utility and infrastructure companies, typically have high leverage, and that is not considered risky because the businesses are very, very predictable. So for example, in a COVID related lockdown kind of scenario, the business of a power grid would not be affected because of that lockdown kind of scenario. So debt levels are typically not a reason for concern in the utility businesses. People have asked questions about the public sector nature of the investment. So I have said this numerous times that the President of India, or effectively the government of India, is not our favorite partner. So if this quality of a business was available in the private sector, we would probably have invested there. But here, given the monopoly characteristics, given the very, very predictable nature of what they do, and given that the possibility of let's say in the oil marketing companies, they were forced to absorb some of the subsidies, etc. Here those kind of misallocation problems are less likely, and the government itself has really turned the corner quite a bit in the last 12 months, and one big sign of that is the big ticket privatization that has been done in a company like Air India. So I think overall in the current environment, it made sense to buy Power Grid at this point in time. People have asked this question about IEX. IEX actually is a private company. It's not a PSU in that sense. So that covers these two companies. Okay, another thing, another interesting development in the last few months has been that a lot of these utility companies actually have had the opportunity to increase shareholder returns. So a company like Power Grid actually spun off some of its assets, the mature transmission lines, into a infrastructure investment trust or a InvIT, and these InvITs are sold to investors who seek debt like returns. So rather than having to own those assets and earn a return over many years, what Power Grid was able to do is spin off those assets, recognize those profits upfront, release a lot of capital, and that capital can be redeployed into creating additional grid capacity. The opportunity for capital expenditure and increasing grid capacity will come not only on account of the shift in energy mix towards renewables, but also because of the overall increase in electricity demand, which is not just GDP growth led, but also because most people expect that transportation will move towards electric vehicles, and that electricity demand will also come on to the grid and or to the power producers.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.